Great day, brothers and sisters. This is Justin with Wisdom Rich, and I'm going to break down a very, very deep video on how exactly I found my powers and who I really was, right? Most people are born. When we are born, you have to ask yourself one question. Who and how did you come forth to this process, right? So I asked myself, so my mom, my dad, they come together, right? And when the intercourse comes together, what happens? This is what happens. Everybody is a seed. We are a seed. So as I can take and eat a fruit, right? And in the fruit there's a seed. We as humans are fruits of our own labor. So I can labor many different things through my mind, which made me say, hold on. I'm way bigger than just an idea. I'm actually any idea that I believe in and enter into. So when I learned that as a man thinketh, James Allen, as a man thinketh, so he becomes, I started to learn the only thing that I actually am is the highest expression of God's consciousness. The highest expression of God's consciousness. But this is what happens. When a person gets to about 30 years old, if they don't find this secret within themselves to exercise it, what we don't use, we lose, right? So it's no different than if you have a classic vehicle, you just sit it somewhere, you don't put a cover over it, you just let it go through the weathering of life. It becomes all rusted and busted and beat down, right? So the secrets that I'm actually giving you aren't secrets. They're questions that if you ask yourself, you'll come to your self-discovery. So everybody is the highest form of conscious energy. Where we decrease our conscious energy is believing in a lower form through our five senses. The sixth sense is the intuition, the intuitive factor, and that's how we all connect. How we connect is very simple. If I think of somebody, right, and I'm thinking very deeply of them, then my phone goes off or they call me or they text me, right? That shows you that all conscious energy is in one element of connection. There's just different frequencies of one element. So when you get into a radio station, there's a million different stations, right? Some stations you'll channel into and listen to. Others you'll just zoom by. That is the same thing that our minds are. It's a conscious energy of recognition, and we usually get our recognition from a program placed upon our heads. So when we actually start questioning the program to see that it was only a man manipulated program, everything out in your environment was created by man. God gave us all sources to create environment through conscious thinking. Anything that we can see and believe, we can conceive, right? So as we start to learn more of who we are, the power comes within ourselves to accept life for how it is, but then build life for how you want to be. That's the secret to the power. And all Bibles and all religions and all scriptures, they all tell you God was this, God was that. You have to ask yourself one question. I don't care who you are or what you worship. How does God work with and through me? Then you actually add the scripture and the science. When you put the scripture and you can comprehend the scripture and the science, that's where the mastermind opens. Most of the times of studying history and studying the sciences and studying life, most people back in the past times were never actually combining it all. But now the information is out, it's easy for us to combine that. It's simple to comprehend. If I keep thinking lower self things, if I keep doing things to myself that are lower vibration, drinking alcohol, smoking cigarettes, doing drugs every day, lying to people and manipulating people, people are going to say he's not a good person, right? What is making me not a good person? I'm just a body like you are. So you would agree that it's the thinking that the body is accepting that is either making the man godly, right? So we can turn to the left to the angel, or we can turn to the right, to be the devil. But that's our choice of perception. The devil is a self-manipulated thought placed upon human mind, right? So what the devil is a creation of an illusion. The only devil that we actually possess in ourselves is the self-induced neglect to not connect to the universal law. The universal law is how we can grow our conscious mind like a farmer grows any crop or fruit. So once we connect our thought, our idea, our dreams, our goals, whatever we love to the universal law, we become to then mirror our image, our origin, which is God, because that's growth in our image of ourself. So when you ask yourself one question in silence, who did you just talk to? When you learn the relationship with that person that I just told you to talk to, and you strengthen that relationship in silence with that person, that is your sincere God. So how you talk to yourself, how you accept yourself, and how you move about life with yourself, that's what you really look like. And you can't hide it, because they say nothing is new under the sun, which means God knows all of our intentions. We cannot fake to fornicate nothing. There's a light bulb over us of conscious energy, as we have miniature light bulbs of conscious energy going back and forth to each other. So we've been sent. How can you manipulate what sent you? You can't. So as a man thinketh, he becomes. Think more in reference of the man you want to become. Mirror that person you want to become. Study that person, and what you're going to see, that person is no different than you. The only secret that they have within themselves is that silent conversation. In certain situations, they reference back to their origin to go about deeding. They don't reference to their man mind, because they know after finding this glory that the man mind has been manipulated. And that's why man goes about his five senses. If it looks good, smells good, tastes good, sounds good, right? But when you come out of yourself to your sixth sense, you know, that person that I told you to talk to, ask a question to, you'll start to ask yourself things from a different perspective. Is that right for all mankind? Does that grow the people? Does that heal the people? And if your mind is thinking like this, you're in the universal connection. Life is going to bring you whatever you will to yourself. That's why it's very, very careful. It's very, very easy. It's very, 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 very simple to misgovern yourself. Because everybody's doing things, and my mom's doing, that doesn't mean she knows what she is. That doesn't mean she knows who she is. That doesn't mean that your dad knows who he is. It's a deep thing, but it's simple. It's so simple that we just jump over. So your real God is the self-communication that you place upon yourself. That is the image that people judge you off of. That is who you are. I don't care what Bible is telling you to study, what to give, what. The insight that I'm giving you, I don't want your money. If you get insight, guess what you give back to the world? Peace and love. That's bigger than money. So if we all know what we are, who we are, and how we are with ourselves, guess what that does? It brings world peace. World peace can only be gained when everyone is taught who they are. Schools have tricked us by telling us, you need this, you need this, you need. Once you find this, you need nothing. That's five senses. Your sixth sense tells you it's infinite and it's in his control. When you're ready, he knows, he delivers it. But if we're programming our five senses all the time, we're going to try to rush things and then wonder why our lives aren't how they should be. Because we're trying to muscle what's not muscle, it's conscious energy. So it knows when it needs to do whatever it is, just like your dog knows when to bite that person that shouldn't be at your door. How does it know that? Believe me, it knows. You cannot deceive somebody at your door with a hidden agenda and the dog ready to eat it. That's how God protects us. It's like, whoa, nope. The energy is within you. You just have to trust that who you are is who you're making yourself. And when you can come home to silence your mind, to remold your mind, your world will change. It won't change with the phone call. It won't change gossiping with somebody. It won't change with you saying, I read this cool book. The only change is going to happen with you piecing your mind, cutting all this noise off, and finding what it is that you're going to go about every day to make yourself that man or woman that you want the world to represent, to say, that person was very good. And it's very, 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 very fine line. It's that simple. Thanks for watching.